AutoRABIT is a continuous delivery for SaaS platforms. We support Salesforce CI/CD and we support MuleSoft CI/CD platform. It's about simplifying your DevOps process, accelerate your feedback cycle, accelerate your delivery schedules, and deliver your end systems faster, deliver to your clients. Let's see how AutoRABIT helps you with your MuleSoft anypoint implementations. Let's log into the AutoRABIT website. Now, once you're here, there are very few configuration steps that you would really have to take inside that. This is a brand new system installed. There's nothing configured in here, absolutely. So let's start with what it takes from the 101 steps. Let's do the anypoint access credentials. I want to access anypoint to AutoRABIT. And then let me save the credentials. Wait, anypoint, what's the URL for that? MuleSoft.com. Let's save that and see if the credentials are good. Yep, credentials are good. So let's see, my system has only one sandbox worker in here. So I am actually seeing the licenses that are involved in here and how many environments that are set up for this instance. Now, once I have the anypoint credentials set up, now my next task is to get your repositories for me. Now, let me add a repository here. This is on GitHub. So let me get the SSH URL for that. My URL is GitHub. My type is Git. This is just a name for us to track inside of AutoRABIT. SFDC contact. And authentication type is user ID. Let's say my user ID is AutoRABIT Mule. See, test connection, success, save this. Now my repositories are saved in here. Now register the branches. How many branches do I have in here? This is only the master branch. This is again a name that I track inside of AutoRABIT. It's a development branch. Okay, now that all the branches are created in here, now the next logical step is for me to set up some profile parameters. Let's see, what does my application have in here? My application is divided. This is my application, Salesforce to database. It pulls the Salesforce every 60 seconds, get the records in there, check for existence of records in the database, either creates a contact or updates a contact in here. Let me see what properties are here. MySQL, host, database, SFDC, user ID, and things like that. So let me set these up in here. So let me check up my database type, a database profile. And what is my database needs? Host and port. Host, port, and database name. Created. And then I'm looking at what are my Salesforce needs. Salesforce. My Salesforce needs user, password, and security token. User, password, all lowercase, password, and security token. Let me just check the case sensitivity. Okay, perfect. That's my Salesforce. Now I need access credentials for the database. So let me create a credential system so that I can reuse this in different places for later on. User ID and password. Done. Now all of my everything is set in here. So now let me set my actual values in here. Let me create a profile for Salesforce. This is my instance. Where did I save them? Open my atom. Okay, my Salesforce token. I'm just going back and forth. That's okay. Security token. And my password for this. My user ID. Save. That's my Salesforce instance. Now my database instance. Let's see. My database instance. My database is. My user ID is the same thing. My password sorry, my port is 3306. 3306. My host is, my database name is free SQL. I think that's one, free MySQL, sorry. Free MySQL. Okay, now my database is created. Now let me see, I want to create one credentials profile, my free MySQL credentials, my user ID, and my password. Okay, now set. All of my profiles are set right now. Let's see how do we reuse both of these in separate things in there. Let me create that this is my awesome project, SFDC contact synchronization. Let me pick up the repository, the brands that I'm trying to track, and this is a anypoint build, which means it includes MUnit and JUnit testing for you. Force build on test failures in case where you have tests in there and you want to continue the build even if there are failures in there. Build on commit, that's for webhooks. And then let's do deployment to the Anypoint Cloud Hub. And then I will call this ARMule SFDC contact. Environment, I have a lot of environments. Let me pick something in there, a worker. And then now let's go back into the application and then see a MySQL.host. So let me take the database, free SQL, MySQL dot. I believe that's the one, MySQL dot, yes. And then I will add credentials on top of this. I'll add the credentials, use the MySQL credentials, same profile, MySQL dot. And then I'll pick the Salesforce profile. I only have one profile in there. My profile in here is SFDC dot. SFDC dot. So that's my credentials, or that's all of my parameters that will be going on along with the deployment for my applications. So let's create this. Now let me just look in the list view. I have a job created and everything in here. This is all fine. All of my profiles are all fine. I just verified them. They're doing good. Thank you. Now let's go back to the webhooks. Now with this, on this application in GitHub, go to settings. Every application does a little bit differently, but they're all very similar from a concept perspective. Let's do webhooks in there. Let's add a new webhook, and my URL is we will give you this URL once we are doing this deployment for you. It's application.json and then add webhook. Done. Now all of the configurations are all completed right now. So let's see what happens inside there. For the first time, we will run this manually. Let's see SFDC contact synchronization, trigger build. Now the build is in progress. And then let's continue looking at what's happening in there. There's Maven, there's the branch is just cloned in there. It's scanning for the projects, we found it, building the Mule application, Maven clean. And then we are running the attach any testing in there that happens in there. We do not have any tests for this particular case, but we just look at them and then see. We don't want to do any specific you don't have to do any specific configurations in order to do that. So now all of the build process is completed, build is configured for auto deploy, and the deployment is triggered. Wow, awesome. Let's just see the builds in there. What happened in here? Sorry, the builds. Let me refresh this. Builds, this is a successful, there are no MUnit tests. I can see just the builds on its own in a different viewpoint. We can search by how many repositories, branch name, project name, whatever name.